Hey guys, Loading Gears here. I just want to go on a little rant as I work on my animation homework. Since I'm probably gonna have to do this until I finish this kind of stuff until I finish the semester, because I just don't have time to just sit down and really work on a video. It just takes homework and video making takes so much time, so I decided to mix it too. Anyways, I wanted to make a video talking about something that I think is really going to affect the video game industry very soon. And that is microtransactions. And I'm pretty sure a lot of you guys have already seen a big microtransactions taking a big kind of leap forward into the world of like AAA video gaming. And most hardcore gamers are reasonably, or justifiably so, or whatever, upset about this. I'm sure to the more casual gamers, we look like we're just whining or complaining or entitled, whatever you want to call us. But I totally understand why people are worried. I just don't think that people are acting on this enough. And here's the thing, and I want to kind of apologize in advance, because this is going to be very y. Lots of ums are going to be on here because it's not scripted. I'm trying to do this while doing homework, so it's not very easy. But anyways, okay, so here's the thing. As much let's start from the beginning. Back when we had PlayStation 2 games and stuff, I don't quite remember, but I'm pretty sure DLCs themselves were not really, they weren't really something that was so just like widely accepted. Like I know some games did it. I mean, the fucking Sims definitely did them. No way the Sims didn't do them. That's just the Sims for you. But it's like today a game comes out, and if it does well, we don't just expect a sequel. We're like, oh well, I wonder what DLC they're gonna come out with. It's almost like it's part of the process of video games now to come out with DLCs. And I'm sure at some point I wasn't as engrossed in the video game the video game culture back then. I mean, I've always been a gamer, but I never really interacted with the culture itself back then. I just played my own games and minded my own business. So I don't really know if this was a big thing back then. But I can only imagine when DLCs started becoming a big thing, a lot of people obviously started creating a backlash, and they started complaining, and now it's just kind of normal. Like it's like I said before, it's not even something that we wonder. It's just like, yeah, games are gonna have DLCs. That's the thing. They're gonna have DLCs. And some people might say, well, this can just be another thing you complain about, and a few years from now you'll just get used to it. And that's true. But does that make it okay? The simple fact that we get used to it doesn't make it okay. You can get used to bad things just because you give up even trying to combat them. I think microtransactions is something we should definitely fight against. Not just because of the simple thing that, holy shit, if I spend $60 on this thing, I better not have to pay another cent for anything else. I want the whole fucking game. I paid $60 for a game, not for the opportunity to buy more shit for the game. I mean, are you fucking kidding me? We're not talking about phone app games. We're talking about $60 console or computer game. Give me the whole experience. So not just because of that, but because there is a slippery slope argument to be made here, and that's why I brought up the whole thing about DLCs, because they became. I'm sure if you look back, you can see how they not only did they start off not being all that common, but they didn't start out so huge. Like, we have games now, like for example, the freaking The Last of Us, where you have like the DLC, it gives you part of the story. It's not like a little extra bonus content. It's more of the story. And I feel like if a game has a story, the whole story should be in the game, you know? You shouldn't have to pay for most of the story and then pay more for the rest of the story. So we have, even the DLCs themselves have already moved to a point where, you know, before you could just kind of be like, well, you know, I don't necessarily need this, to, if you like the game enough, you have more of a push to buy it because you want to know the whole story. And I can see microtransactions kind of taking that, because what pisses me off more than anything is how fans just take this shit up the ass. And that's something, a point I wanted to make. I can't be mad at companies for doing this, because businesses are businesses, and businesses are gonna business. And the point of a business is to make money. But a business is not going to continue a practice that doesn't make them money. And that's why fans piss me off to no end. Because it's not only it's not only that they're willing to buy you, because, you know, if you have the money and you really want this content, who am I to tell you how to spend your money? But it's like the fans, they want to like believe so bad that they're not being milked for cash, and that they're not just kind of being used as a profit machine, that they will make excuses for the developers. Like, the developers don't even have to come up with excuses because the fans will cover them. And it's like, when did we become when did we become their bitch? Like, I'm not gonna get into this too much, but I'm sure there's a sect of gamers out there, who I'm sure they can see that the video game industry, not the industry as a whole, you know, the developers, the publishers, and even the journalists, it seems like there's been a kind of a change from us being the consumers, and therefore we pretty much dictate how they're going to do their job, because they're supposed to appease to us because we're the ones paying them. There's been a shift from that to almost like we are their bitches and we just have to buy whatever they tell us to buy, because for some reason people justify this fact that they spend money on a bad product or on a flawed product or on something that just wasn't what it should be. And that just pisses me off to no end, because if this kind of stuff keeps happening and it ruins the industry, it's our fault. Because the companies are not gonna keep doing things that doesn't earn them money. And the reason I really don't like microtransactions is because of the fact that, like I said, companies are gonna company, or businesses are gonna business, and businesses are made to make money. And at the end of the day, a little phone app game is so much cheaper to make than a AAA game, like unbelievably cheaper. But and by selling at us, you know, like, think of phone app games. They're really cheap to make. Any indie developer can make a phone app. I mean, fucking Flappy Bird is a great example. But depending on how addicting it is and how many microtransactions they put in there, they can make quite a bit of money off of it. I wouldn't say they can ever make as much money as a AAA developer, but if you take in what they spend on making the game and what they get back from the game, the actual profit could be worth it if these AAA companies decide to start going that direction. Especially because they're doing these microtransactions, which is supposed to be kind of like a indie game thing or a phone app game thing, but they're still selling their games as AAA games. So, you know, you're getting these microtransaction games, but you're still paying the whole full AAA value for them. You're still paying $60 for them, and the screen's gonna, I'm not gonna do much because it's getting a little hard to do this while talking. But what I'm trying to say is, it's profitable for them. If they manage to work this right, this is profitable for them, because they could essentially keep selling the games for AAA value, while having the games cost less to develop, and get more money through microtransactions. And that just stinks of, uninspired games made solely for money. And I know at one point, because gamers are gamers, and even though some of you guys piss me off with how much you justify things, I know that at one point there's no way we're going to be able to just sit back and take it, and we're going to break. Gamers are just going to straight up say, fuck this bullshit. Like, whatever happened to the real games? But at that point, it may be too late, because casual gamers, and no hate to you guys, you guys do your thing, play your games. I don't really care. But the thing is, casual gamers come into the AAA world because it's becoming more casual. And if by the time we realize what's going on, they already have that new population of gamers in, they're not really going to lose that much money if we decide we're not buying this stuff anymore. And honestly, to me, as an aspiring game developer, indie game developer, that's not really a big deal for me. Hey, that might inspire more people to buy indie games, and that's a good thing for me. Because I am an aspiring indie game developer. That's why I'm doing this shit. But I am still a gamer, and I don't want to see these games die. I mean, the first time that it really hit me was back when Dead Space 3 came out, and I thought it was so weird just seeing these microtransactions thrown in there. And they weren't super necessary. It's not like the resources were super hard to obtain. But like any big change, especially controversial change, it is never something that's just bam, new change. It's something, it's something that they always get the foot in the door and kind of convince people slowly that it's okay. Because, if you go from 0 to 10, people see that's a big jump. But if you go from 0 to 1, that's not a big jump. Then 1 to 2, that's not a big jump. 2 to 3, 4 to 5, 5 to 6, 6 to 7, those are not big jumps. When you get used to 5 and you move on to 6, all you're seeing is an increase in one number. You're not seeing that you were once at 1, now you're moving to 6. Sorry, I like metaphors. But I hope you understand what I mean. And I mean, now it started out, the first time I noticed it was with Dead Space 3, and it wasn't really all that necessary, but it was there. Now you have microtransactions in fucking Metal Gear Solid 5. Who would have thought you would have seen microtransactions in Metal Gear Solid, really? And while they're still not necessary, they are something that you can't obtain otherwise. You can't obtain these other FOBs without paying real money. You can't. It's not even like those pay to win kind of scenarios where you can choose to pay or you can just get it yourself. But if you get it yourself, it's gonna take you 45 fucking weeks to get it. It's not even that. No, you cannot in any other way get these FOBs. Who would have thought you would have seen that in Metal Gear Solid? In a AAA game that took like fucking 5 years to make. And this is what I'm talking about. This is that slow progress into this. The fucking new Tomb Raider, 300 microtransactions. The new Tomb Raider is supposed to have 300 microtransactions. 300. This is the game you're going to pay $60 for. And yeah, people are saying that a lot of it is really stupid stuff. It's not stuff that you really need. But at the same time, with that being said, I remember one of them was like, bobblehead mode, because that's really what people that are gonna buy Tomb Raider want to get, bobblehead mode. But whatever. If it's really dumb stuff like that, I can tell you, as someone who studied a little bit of programming, a little bit of modeling, and a little bit of each aspect of game development, that little shit doesn't require that much work to add in there. It's literally increase the head size and like save it as a different prefab that you in script say if they bought this, you use this size of the head. That it, I'm simplifying it, but the point is it's not complicated. It's not something that they need that extra money for. So why are they doing it? They're doing it because they can, because people are going to pay for it. And so essentially, another example is the freaking, like, what was it, 40, 60, I forgot, $50 I think season pass for the new Star Wars games that's coming out. Like, guys, this is ridiculous. You're paying $60 for these games. Why should you need to pay anything extra? And I mean, the rewards you get for pre-ordering the game is another thing. Why is that even a thing? Like, yeah, a lot of it is aesthetics. With that being said, it's already in there. So obviously they don't need that money to put it in there because it's already made. So again, it's not like it's not like they're going, they're making that extra step and they need that money to make it. They're just doing it because they know they can. So essentially this is what this whole video sums up to. If you're sick of these microtransactions, if you're sick of these little extra things that you get for pre-ordering, if you're sick of these things that are obviously just to milk your money, things that don't justify having to need more money, like I said, it's already in there. They don't need that money to make it. If you're sick of that, stop talking about it and put your money where your mouth is. Don't pay for it. They're not going to do something that's not profitable for them. The only reason this shit still exists and it gets worse and worse is because you're paying for it. It's because they don't care how much you bitch. You bitching doesn't cost them money. What they care about is whether or not you buy it. So stop buying it. I'm not saying stop buying the games. That's, first world problems, but as a gamer, I understand, hell no. That's not something you're going to do. I don't blame you. But stop paying for the microtransactions. They know, they know when you're buying the microtransactions. They can get their own statistics of how much what makes them. If we get together and decide to essentially, like I said, put our money where our mouth is, we can change this shit. It's not going to destroy the game industry. It's putting the power back in the consumer as it was meant to be. That's what capitalism was supposed to be. The consumer saying, this is what I want, and the producer pretty much bending to that want. But we've gotten to a point where for some reason we justify our shitty spent money to where they have the power. It's pretty much they decide what to make and we have no choice to buy it. Yes, we do have a choice. We don't have to buy it. Until they learn their lesson, pretty much, until it actually hits them financially, we are going to have to miss out on some stuff. But if you care enough about this stuff, and if you don't want to see, the next Metal Gear Solid 5 be a mother-based simulator where, if you want to build a strut, it's going to take you 5 days unless you pay $5. If you don't want to see that kind of shit happening, then you will heed my advice. That's all I'm saying. It's really just not buying the extra shit that you should not need to pay for. It's not even not buying games. You can still enjoy the games, but stand up to and it's not even the developers, because I've noticed that the developers are more focused on the art. It's the producers. Stand up to them and show them that the power is with the consumer. It's not with the producer. They don't tell us what we're going to buy. We tell them what we want to buy, and they make it for us. That's supposed to be the whole deal. We give you money because you put in work for something we want. It's not you made something we don't really like, but oh well, we don't have any other thing to buy, so we're going to spend money on it anyways. No. So this is a video pretty much saying, let's put the power back on the consumer. Put your money with where your mouth is if you really hate these things, and stop paying for this shit. I myself have been a fan of The Sims since the beginning of the PS2 era, and I bought every game. I bought in The Sims 3. I bought the major expansion packs, but I said fuck you to the stuff packs. The fact that the main DLCs are $40 is fucking ridiculous, but like another $20 just for literally stuff. Like it's not adding new mechanics. It's literally adding stuff for you to buy in the game. Really? No. And in The Sims 4, didn't even buy a DLC, because I am getting sick of this shit. The Sims is honestly a perfect example of it. The fact that they give you like freaking 20 expansion packs at any time a same game comes out, and it's always the same shit. Like, you know, we already know The Sims 4 is going to have a pet expansion pack, some kind of expansion pack where you go to another place to have some kind of different adventure. We're going to have some kind of expansion pack where they add new jobs. We're going to have some kind of expansion pack where they add... We're going to have all of that. Because they're not adding new content. They're giving you a new vanilla game, and essentially what you're doing is just stripping it bare of all the expansion packs that you already bought for the last game, and then just waiting for them to come out with the same fucking expansion packs for the new game, and then spending another $40 in each of those expansion packs that you really already bought for the last game. I'm sorry, this is supposed to be about The Sims, but holy shit, that really pisses me off. So I'll say it one last time, and I'll end the video here. Put your money with your mouth where your mouth is. Stop paying for this shit, and make it known that we don't want this shit. This is not something we're gonna put our money into. Make them feel it in their wallet, and they will stop doing it. But anyways, that's the end of my rant. Thank you guys for listening. If you like this video, make sure to like, subscribe, and honestly, just please, 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 at least share it with your friends, especially your gamer friends. I'll talk to you guys next time. Peace.